What's up guys, Chris here with another 4 Nights of the Apocalypse manga chapter review. Now once again, currently the manga for the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse's official release in English on Azuki is still delayed for an unknown amount of time, so once more I will be using fan translations. If you want to get access to the fan translations, then I highly suggest you guys go over to the 7 Deadly Sins or Nanatsu no Taizai subreddit, where an account will link whenever a new chapter is released. I am also linking down below the Instagram account called 4nights.apocalypse, where this account is also responsible for letting everyone know when chapters are released, and will leave a link to the latest chapter that has been fan translated until the official hopefully returns to us sometime soon. But anyway, with that little announcement and clarification out of the way, we had another really good 4 Nights chapter, and this one focused primarily on Tristan. And I am so happy we get to see more of what Tristan can do, as we only really got to see him fight a little bit against Percival in that big misunderstanding back in like chapter 55, and only like a brief little attack when he first encountered Melascula. This one is purely Tristan versus Melascula, with a little bit of intervention from Lancelot, which we'll get into, and we get some more reveals and setup for how this arc is potentially going to end. But this chapter does focus solely on Tristan. It made me laugh, it made me hype. I love this chapter, and we'll get right into that. But before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. It shows YouTube algorithm that you guys are enjoying my 4 Nights content, and will continue to recommend it to other people and allow this community to grow even further. I'm really enjoying these videos, and I cannot wait to continue doing them in the future. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's hit that intro and start the review. So chapter 68 of the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, titled Nephilim. And I like this cover image as it shows a young Tristan from the end of the 7 Deadly Sins back when he was roughly 10 years old, with Elizabeth and Meliodas. Noticeably their faces are covered. I mean, even though we've seen Meliodas, we do not know what Elizabeth looks like, so this is a nice little way of teasing us. Yeah, we're probably going to get to see Elizabeth sometime soon. And I like the little tagline that says, "A demon clan king for a father, a goddess clan queen for a mother, with his family's love and hope in his heart as a knight of the apocalypse." And I like it. It kind of is a one-sentence summary of what Tristan's character is kind of like, and we're going to see more of him in this chapter. So anyway, we continue from last week, where Percival interrupted the battle with Galland and Gawain as he sent a Percival golem towards Galland, and it got basically stuck inside Galland as he regenerated back together, thus exploding within him and seemingly killing Galland in that instance. And Gawain is kind of pissed off about this because Percival kind of interrupted her, and she also got caught in the blast of the explosion. And the chapter ended last week with Gawain chasing Percival. So we continue with last week, with Gawain continuing to chase after Percival. And Percival is just running away, saying that he hasn't done anything, as he calls out for Lancelot to do something about Gawain. But Lancelot is just staring up into the air and observing Tristan's battle against Melascula, as it's seemingly like they're going blow for blow, not really any real damage to the other. Tristan states that the battle below them against Galland has ended, and asks nicely for Melascula to surrender already. But she snickers, and then uses an ability, Divine Spirit of Evil Tastes, as Tristan goes to slash her up with his divine sword. But he notices that the enchantment on his sword is chipping away, as Melascula reveals that she shouldn't be lumped in with the old man, Galland, which I like that she's still calling Galland an old man. That's kind of been like the kind of group dynamic and stuff like that from the original series. As we then see this horrific monstrosity that Melascula somehow created, saying thank you for the delicious magic, as this creature is what ate the enchantment on Tristan's sword, basically nullifying the attack and making it a hell of a lot weaker. Tristan then motions his hands and casts Arc on the creature, but we then notice that the holy magic that he just used has no effect on it, as Melascula explains. This one certainly is a polymer of souls, called forth from the other side, but it's a mix of both Demon Clan and Goddess Clan souls, which is honestly pretty kind of horrific imagery, because we can tell one part is like some kind of demonic monstrosity and the other seemingly human. So this is a human and a goddess soul combined, essentially, an amalgamation of the souls combined. As she states, so with that in mind, of course this creature would have a resistance to light and darkness magic. And it's ironic, she states that it's just like Tristan. Born between a demon and a goddess, a Nephilim or impure child. She states how it's repulsive. Though she states she doesn't feel much of the demon side in Tristan, saying that his appearance and magic are both just like Elizabeth, aka Bloodstained or Bloody Ellie. But Mollusca does state that Tristan's magic doesn't even hold a candle to Elizabeth's. Kinda questioning. He's her son, yet her magic is still stronger than her kid's. But then, unexpectedly, Tristan just gets all giddy with stars in his eyes saying, "I know, right?" Kind of catching Mollusca off guard, as he then goes off on some kind of monologue thing, talking about his mother, saying that, they basically just saying how amazing his mother is, and that compared to her, he can only heal wounds, not curses or ailments. So this shows that Elizabeth can cure curses and ailments, and it's been 16 years, so of course she's most likely gotten stronger and gotten all of her power from the past 3,000 years, culminated by now, so it makes sense. She is basically the strongest goddess around right now. Unless we see Mael, but Elizabeth is the strongest goddess right now, and the only goddess around right now, from what we can know, so it does kind of make sense. He then says that, since he's told that he resembles her upon first meeting, he does speculate that, yeah, I guess I do resemble her a lot. The truth is, this right ear piecing too was given to him by his Aunt Margaret, because she said that Tristan and Elizabeth are kind of like two peas in a pod, and then Tristan then goes on to seemingly break the fourth wall as he gets up close and personal to Mollusca, maybe even talking to the audience, basically saying, "By the way, that episode when Mother was known as Bloodstained Ellie in the demon world, can you tell me something about it?" She doesn't really tell me a lot about the past, you see. As Mollusca is just kind of getting freaked out by just how obsessed Tristan is, this moment got me laughing out loud because, yeah, the fact that Elizabeth was called Bloodstained Ellie or Bloody Ellie back in the manga and in the anime, when she and Meliodas teamed up against the Demon King and showed that, yeah, she can fight pretty well, that just came out of nowhere with her nickname. We don't know why she's called Bloody Ellie, so I wanted to know this, and Tristan wants to know this too. It's basically like him talking to the mangaka and stuff, like he's the embodiment of the fans being like, "Hey Nakaba, can you tell us what the hell is up with Elizabeth's nickname Bloody Ellie? You didn't give us a flashback or an instance of why she's called this. Please tell us." So yeah, I found this kind of hilarious, as Mollusca literally just flies back and uses the Nephilim to separate them, basically stating to stop messing with her. Tristan says that he is, well, not messing around. He's pretty serious. And then Mollusca brings up the fact that he doesn't resemble his father, as Tristan gets giddy again, stating, "I know, right? You really think so?" Mollusca is starting to get pretty pissed off, telling him not to get giddy in the midst of battle, and that he's really pissing her off. But then, some random fairy shows up, being like, "Excuse me for interrupting, but may I have a moment?" As basically catching Tristan and Mollusca off guard. Tristan thinks that this fairy is one of the fairies that lives in Leonis. It basically says, "What business do you have? It's dangerous to be here. Hurry and get away." But the fairy ignores Tristan and says, "I have something to discuss with that demon over there." But Mollusca then states, "Me? A demon? You're a rude fairy. Did you come here just to get killed? I'm an apostle of the chaos, serving the king of chaos. I'm Chaos Mollusca." So, not just Galland, but also Mollusca have seemingly been brainwashed by Arthur and Chaos. Now, I speculated that maybe Mollusca still had her memories of being part of the Ten Commandments due to the chant that she used to revive Galland back in chapter 64. But this seems like this was only really part of the chant. Maybe she was brainwashed during the chant and stuff like that. It's confusing, but I'm kind of wondering, how much can Arthur alter someone's memories and brainwash them? But anyway, back to the chapter. The fairy then brings up, "Back when you came to this kingdom, where did the person who was initially with you go off to?" Mollusca asks why this fairy is asking about that, but in her mind she says, "They didn't mess up, did they? That star visor. They said they were heading near the castle." Anyway, what an idiotic looking fairy. As Mollusca then just creates a chaotic darkness wave and slices up the fairy, horrifying Tristan and getting him angry. As she says, "What an unsightly death." As we then hear a voice off screen stating, "Just the reaction I expected," as Molaskia glances over, seeing that the fairy itself is fine. As the fairy states, "If the star visor is near the castle, I guess they went to the dungeon." As Molaskia is confused and is like, "Wait, you read my heart?" And Tristan catches on and notices that this fairy isn't just any old fairy. As the fairy then disappears in a puff of smoke, stating, "Since you were put off guard by this form, you leaked your thoughts without any caution. I appreciate it." As it's revealed to be Lancelot, as he says, "Hey demon, if you judge others by appearances like that, you'll end up hurt." So I like how Lancelot is using his transformation magic. So at first we only saw him use his transformation to turn into Sin the Fox, but now he can transform into seemingly anything, which this transformation magic, it makes a hell of a lot more sense for him to transform into anything he sets his imagination to. Which I am honestly very happy about, because there's only so much you can do as, well, a sneaky fox. Maybe he has to impersonate a Knight of Chaos or something like that, and since he can read people's minds or their hearts, he can kind of almost perfectly mimic them. Which makes Lancelot, once more, the perfect spy. And I like how he basically gets all cocky and stuff like that, as he kind of reminds me of Bond when he gets one over on an opponent. Like father, like son, I guess. But then Molaskia seems to be grabbing her head in pain and confusion, wondering why he keeps calling her a demon, stating how it's ridiculous. But Lancelot pushes onwards and says, "Am I wrong? The Demon King's elite, the 10 Commandments, Molaskia of Faith. That's you, right?" As then Molaskia then hears a voice in her head, similar to Gawain, stating, "To destroy them. Those who oppose the King of Chaos and the Eternal Kingdom. The 7 deadly sins, 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, holy knights who help them and the other races." As she's like questioning herself, her, one of the 10 Commandments? That's impossible, as she screams out in pain. Tristan, kind of getting the wrong idea with the sweetheart that he is, asks Lancelot what on earth he did to her. But then Lancelot explains what he realized with Gawain and used it on Molaskia just now, stating that he basically just poked her original memories by just making them come to understand something crucial about themselves. They're under brainwashing, a pretty crude brainwashing spell. The more you try to remember who you are or who you were, the more the thinking will be disrupted and the brainwashing spell itself. So, the more someone who's brainwashed tries to remember who they truly are, the brainwashing spell will forcefully overwrite their memories and make them a rampaging monster, like what happened with Gawain and what's seemingly going to happen with Molaskia right now. Lancelot continues to explain that Molaskia is a sorceress. If she can't keep her thoughts in order, she can't use spells and won't be able to retain the form she has now. It should be easier for Tristan to fight that way. As Tristan's like, "Wait, her form?" As Lancelot just says, "Good luck with the rest. I have some business at the castle now." As Tristan's like, "Wait, Lance, where are you going?" As then Molaskia begins to shapeshift and form into the giant snake monster, to the shock of Tristan, Gawain, and Percival. And I like that not only do we get this giant panel of Molaskia in her giant snake form with more of a chaos-like pattern to it, but we get to see the reaction of Percival just latching onto Gawain in just utter shock and fear, a huge snake as he cries, as Gawain's just confused. Wait, did she just transform? And I like how Percival's kind of being the comedic relief of this whole group. He is the most immature out of all of them, as he's basically like, he's the same age, but he is technically acting like a child most of the time. So him being all goofy and ridiculous, it makes a lot of sense. And I feel like the dynamic between Gawain and Percival is just gonna be like, Gawain and Percival are just gonna keep being at like, kind of be like a buddy cop duo. But anyway, Tristan states that this seems to be her true form. As the citizens notice Molaskia in the sky, and they all promptly begin to run away. We then see Team Percival reacting to all this. I mean, like, wait, is that the thing Percival and the others are fighting right now? But then Molasquia's like, why am I in this form? No. As we then hear Holy Knights on the ground being like, what a hideous form. This one's combat level is dangerous. But then Molaskia says, don't look at me, I'll swallow you all whole. As it seems like Pelio's leading this group of Holy Knights, so he's saying, here it comes, no matter what we must, back up the Knights of the Apocalypse. But then, if we notice in that panel where Melascula is saying, "Do not look at me," we see Tristan in the background. It seems like his goddess wings fade, and we see darkness sprout from his back. As we then get a 2-page spread of Tristan flying through Melascula and slashing and piercing her through multiple areas as he comes out on the other side, showing his demon form. And I like this because we see his demon mark on his forehead. And this isn't like Meliodas or Zeldris' demon marks. It's completely different. Perhaps this has something to do with the fact that he is a goddess and a demon, a Nephilim. Maybe his goddess half kind of influenced his demon half, and now it has a different mark. Melascula then falls to the ground as we see a panel of Tristan looking pretty damn terrifying and monstrous. And be honest, with how his eyes look in that panel, he kind of looks like the Demon King in his full power state when he possesses Zeldris. That's a pretty nice attention to detail, and I kind of like that. Makes you wonder what Tristan would be like if he truly went full on demon. But anyway, as Melascula is fading away, she says, "This evil and huge power. You're not anything like your mother. On the contrary, you are a monster like your father." As Melascula falls to the ground, Tristan gets out of his demon state as he says, "It's because I didn't want to hear that I didn't want to use this power." As Melascula is on the ground, seemingly fading away, as we cut away, she then opens up her mouth and it shows a chaos staff as she chants, "O King Arthur, grant us one last power." As we see a panel of Percival running up to Tristan to congratulate him on his victory, and the final panel is the chaos staff lighting up, ending the chapter. Now, I'm sorry it took so long with this chapter, but so much happened and so much I wanted to talk about, so I apologize for how long these last few reviews have been. But damn, was this an awesome chapter. We got to see just how big of a mama's boy Tristan is, and apparently he does not like using his demon powers. Which is so this entire time, it seems like his demon powers are more attack focused and a lot more destructive. So he basically one-shotted Melascula in this instance, just because he accessed his demon form. And if we take that one panel into account in what Tristan states, he doesn't want to be compared to a monster. And it seems that he kind of views Meliodas' demon side and his demon side as monstrous, dark, and, well, dangerous. Which, if you take into account what the Demon Clan has done during the Holy War, because of the Demon King and the Supreme Deities, whole thing with creating an everlasting Holy War, it makes sense why Tristan wouldn't want to use his demon powers, as, sure, the people of Leonis might accept him due to the fact that Meliodas is, in fact, his father, and he's been a good king. But by using his demon half, it's possible that he fears that he reminds people of the pain and despair that the Demon Clan, one of his clans, has done to the humans, and he doesn't want to be viewed as a monster like the ones that cause destruction. At least that's my guess. Now, what he has against his father, I'm not entirely sure, because he does favor his mom over his father, which it could just be the fact that he prefers his mother, and, he's a mama's boy, which, kind of funny. I kind of like it. If that's like a joke, that a running gag that we're going to get in the series, I don't mind it. Him constantly being like, I want to be as awesome as my mother, but I don't want to be compared to my father. We kind of got a glimpse of that whole aspect in the final chapter, The 7 Deadly Sins. But still, it's kind of nice that we see how much of a goody two-shoes Tristan is, and how much he wants to be like his mother, to the point where he doesn't really want to use his demon side, and doesn't really want to be considered a monster. So, I want to make a video on Tristan's potential, just in general. So, look forward to that. I do want to get this planned within the next month or so. But that was the chapter. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, sorry for this being so long. It really was an awesome chapter. I just had so much to talk about. And there's still stuff I wasn't able to talk about right now, in terms of speculating what the next chapter is going to be about. But one last thing I want to mention about this chapter is the fact that we know that the Star Visored Knight, the one that Lancelot is looking for, is currently in Leonis. Meaning that we might get the confrontation and the reveal of who this knight is. A common theory is the fact that this could be Jericho, and I'm more inclined to agree because if it's a more personal matter, if it is Jericho and she's under the same brainwashing that Molasco and Galland are in, then Lancelot has a very strong personal motive to take on this Star-Visor Knight and get his master back. Also, I just like how Lancelot's kind of being more like cheeky, manipulative, and more like very tricky. And it's very fun to see him mess with his opponents with his transformation magic and try and probe for information by any means he can think of. And I can't wait to see him fight, because we're getting set up to see Lancelot versus the Star-Visor Knight, which means we might not get to see Meliodas fight yet. That might be saved for the end of the arc when Arthur eventually shows up. But yeah, I'm planning to do a Tristan potential video sometime in the near future. But one last thing I want to leave you guys with, I might do an update video type thing very soon as well, but I want to let you guys know I'm going to be on vacation from July 12th to August 17th. If for some reason I come back earlier, I'll come back earlier. But in that instance, for those weeks that I'm going to be away, there will be no chapter reviews for the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, unfortunately. I am planning to get some videos done in advance so you guys can have some content to look forward to while I'm gone. Whether or not some of this content will be outdated or, well, flat out wrong, it'll still be on me. But I'm trying to get some videos done in advance so you guys can have something to look forward to every week. And I don't want to lose the momentum I have right now with my 4 Nights videos. So look forward to that, and I'm sorry for not getting the content that you guys want to see weekly. But I really want to go to Greece again this year, and I'm going to be there a lot longer than I was last year. So it's going to be nice for me to be there with my family and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Look forward to future stuff that I have planned. I do want to make at least 2 to 3 4 Nights related content videos for the break for you guys to look forward to. So yeah, look forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. Also, comment down below your thoughts on the chapter, Tristan's abilities and his own potential, theories on what's going to happen next. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.